Religions in the world. History of religion. The history of religion refers to the written record of human religious experiences and ideas. This period of religious history begins with the invention of writing about 5,200 years ago, 3200 BCE. The prehistory of religion involves the study of religious beliefs that existed prior to the advent of written records. One can also study comparative religious chronology through a timeline of religion. Writing played a major role in standardizing religious texts regardless of time or location, and making easier the memorization of prayers and divine rules. The case of the Bible involves the collation of multiple oral texts handed down over the centuries. The concept of religion was formed in the 16th and 17th centuries, despite the fact that ancient sacred texts like the Bible, the Quran, and others did not have a word or even a concept of religion in the original languages, and neither did the people or the cultures in which these sacred texts were written. Axial Age. Historians have labeled the period from 900 to 200 BCE as the Axial Age, a term coined by German-Swiss philosopher Karl Jaspers, 1883 to 1969. According to Jaspers, in this era of history the spiritual foundations of humanity were laid simultaneously and independently. And these are the foundations upon which humanity still subsists today. Intellectual historian Peter Watson has summarized this period as the foundation time of many of humanity's most influential philosophical traditions, including monotheism in Persia and Canaan, Platonism in Greece, Buddhism and Jainism in India, and Confucianism and Taoism in China. Middle Ages. World religions of the present day established themselves throughout Eurasia during the Middle Ages by Christianization of the Western world, Buddhist missions to East Asia, the decline of Buddhism in the Indian subcontinent, the spread of Islam throughout the Middle East, Central Asia, North Africa and parts of Europe and India. During the Middle Ages, Muslims came into conflict with Zoroastrians during the Islamic conquest of Persia, 633–654. Christians fought against Muslims during the Byzantine Arab Wars, 7th to 11th centuries, the Crusades, 1095 onward, the Reconquista, 718–1492, the Ottoman Wars in Europe, 13th century onwards, and the Inquisition. Shamanism was in conflict with Buddhists, Taoists, Muslims and Christians during the Mongol invasions, 1206 to 1337, and Muslims clashed with Hindus and Sikhs during the Muslim conquest of the Indian subcontinent, 8th to 16th centuries. Modern period. European colonization during the 15th to 19th centuries resulted in the spread of Christianity in sub-Saharan Africa, and to the Americas, Australia and the Philippines. The invention of the printing press in the 15th century played a major role in the rapid spread of the Protestant Reformation under leaders such as Martin Luther, 1483 to 1546, and John Calvin, 1509 to 1564. Wars of religion broke out, culminating in the 30 Years' War which ravaged Central Europe between 1618 and 1648. The 18th century saw the beginning of secularization in Europe, gaining momentum after the French Revolution of 1789 and following. By the late 20th century religion had declined in most of Europe. In the 20th century, the regimes of Communist Eastern Europe and of Communist China were anti-religious. A great variety of new religious movements originated in the 20th century, many proposing syncretism of elements of established religions. Christianity. Christianity is based on the life and teachings of Jesus of Nazareth, 1st century, as presented in the New Testament. The Christian faith is essentially faith in Jesus as the Christ, the Son of God, and as Savior and Lord. Almost all Christians believe in the Trinity, which teaches the unity of Father, Son, Jesus Christ, and Holy Spirit as three persons in one Godhead. The main divisions of Christianity are, according to the number of adherents. The Catholic Church, led by the Bishop of Rome and the bishops worldwide in communion with him, is a communion of 24 churches sui iuris, including the Latin Church and 23 Eastern Catholic churches, such as the Maronite Catholic Church. Eastern Christianity, which include Eastern Orthodoxy, Oriental Orthodoxy, and the Church of the East. Protestantism, separated from the Catholic Church in the 16th century Protestant Reformation and is split into thousands of denominations. Major branches of Protestantism include Anglicanism, Baptists, Calvinism, Lutheranism, and Methodism, though each of these contain many different denominations or groups. Islam. Islam is based on the Quran, one of the holy books considered by Muslims to be revealed by God, and on the teachings, hadith, of the Islamic prophet Muhammad, a major political and religious figure of the 7th century CE. Islam is based on the unity of all religious philosophies and accepts all of the Abrahamic prophets of Judaism, Christianity and other Abrahamic religions before Muhammad. It is the most widely practiced religion of Southeast Asia, North Africa, Western Asia, and Central Asia, while Muslim-majority countries also exist in parts of South Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa, and Southeast Europe. There are also several Islamic republics, including Iran, Pakistan, Mauritania, and Afghanistan. Sunni Islam is the largest denomination within Islam and follows the Quran, the Hadiths which record the Sunnah, whilst placing emphasis on the Sahaba. Shia Islam is the second largest denomination of Islam and its adherents believe that Ali succeeded Muhammad and further places emphasis on Muhammad's family. Ahmadiyya adherents believe that the awaited Imam Mahdi and the promised Messiah has arrived, believed to be Mirza Ghulam Ahmad by Ahmadis. There are also Muslim revivalist movements such as Muwahhidism and Salafism. Non-religious, atheist/agnostic. Agnostic atheism is a philosophical position that encompasses both atheism and agnosticism. Agnostic atheists are atheistic because they do not hold a belief in the existence of any deity, and agnostic because they claim that the existence of a deity is either unknowable in principle or currently unknown in fact. Epistemological, or agnostic, atheism argues that people cannot know a god or determine the existence of a god. The foundation of epistemological atheism is agnosticism, which takes a variety of forms. In the philosophy of immanence, divinity is inseparable from the world itself, including a person's mind, and each person's consciousness is locked in the subject. Other arguments for atheism that can be classified as epistemological or ontological, including logical positivism and agnosticism, assert the meaninglessness or unintelligibility of basic terms such as God and statements such as God is all-powerful. Hinduism. Hinduism is preferentially self-designated by the term Vedika Dharma. It is a synecdoche describing the similar philosophies of Vaishnavism, Shaivism, and related groups practiced or founded in the Indian subcontinent. Concepts most of them share in common include karma, caste, reincarnation, mantras, yatras, and darsana. Hinduism is one of the most ancient of still active religions, with origins perhaps as far back as prehistoric times. Hinduism is not a monolithic religion but a religious category containing dozens of separate philosophies amalgamated as Sanatana Dharma, which is the name by which Hinduism has been known throughout history by its followers. Chinese folk religion. Chinese folk religion, the indigenous religions of the Han Chinese, or, by metonymy, of all the populations of the Chinese cultural sphere. It includes the syncretism of Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism, Wuism, as well as many new religious movements such as Chen Tao, Falun Gong, and Yagan Dao. Other folk and new religions of East Asia and Southeast Asia such as Korean shamanism, Shindogyeo, and Jusandu in Korea, Shindo, Shugendo, Ryukyuan religion, and Japanese new religions in Japan, Satsunafai in Laos, Cao Dai, Hoa Hao, and Vietnamese folk religion in Vietnam. Buddhism. Buddhism was founded by Siddhartha Gautama in the 6th century BCE. Buddhists generally agree that Gautama aimed to help sentient beings end their suffering, dukkha, by understanding the true nature of phenomena, thereby escaping the cycle of suffering and rebirth, samsara, that is, achieving nirvana. Theravada Buddhism, which is practiced mainly in Sri Lanka and Southeast Asia alongside folk religion, shares some characteristics of Indian religions. It is based in a large collection of texts called the Pali Canon. Mahayana Buddhism, or the Great Vehicle, under which are a multitude of doctrines that became prominent in China and are still relevant in Vietnam, Korea, Japan and to a lesser extent in Europe and the United States. Mahayana Buddhism includes such disparate teachings as Zen, Pure Land, and Soka Gakkai. Vajrayana Buddhism first appeared in India in the 3rd century CE. It is currently most prominent in the Himalaya regions and extends across all of Asia, cf. Mikyo. Two notable new Buddhist sects are Hoa Hao and the Navayana, Dalit Buddhist movement, which were developed separately in the 20th century. Primal indigenous. Indigenous religions or folk religions refers to a broad category of traditional religions that can be characterized by shamanism, animism and ancestor worship, where traditional means indigenous, that which is aboriginal or foundational, handed down from generation to generation. These are religions that are closely associated with a particular group of people, ethnicity or tribe. They often have no formal creeds or sacred texts. Some faiths are syncretic, fusing diverse religious beliefs and practices. Australian Aboriginal religions. Folk religions of the Americas, Native American religions. Folk religions are often omitted as a category in surveys even in countries where they are widely practiced, for example in China. African traditional and diasporic. African traditional religion encompasses the traditional religious beliefs of people in Africa. In West Africa, these religions include the Akan religion, Dahomey, Faun mythology, Efik mythology, Odinani, Serer religion, Ataturk, and Yoruba religion, while Bushungo mythology, Mbuti, Pygmy mythology, Lugbara mythology, Dinka religion, and Lotiko mythology come from Central Africa. Southern African traditions include Akamba mythology, Maasai mythology, Malagasy mythology, San religion, Lozai mythology, Tumbuka mythology, and Zulu mythology. Bantu mythology is found throughout Central, Southeast, and Southern Africa. In North Africa, these traditions include Berber and ancient Egyptian. There are also notable African diasporic religions practiced in the Americas, such as Santeria, Kandano, Vodun, Lakumi, Umbanda, and Macumba. Sikhism. Sikhism is a pantheistic religion founded on the teachings of Guru Nanak and 10 successive Sikh gurus in 15th century Punjab. It is the 5th largest organized religion in the world, with approximately 30 million Sikhs. Sikhs are expected to embody the qualities of a Sant Sipahi, a saint soldier, have control over one's internal vices and be able to be constantly immersed in virtues clarified in the Guru Granth Sahib. The principal beliefs of Sikhi are faith in Waheguru, represented by the phrase Ek Oankar, meaning one God, who prevails in everything, along with a praxis in which the Sikh is enjoined to engage in social reform through the pursuit of justice for all human beings. Juche. It is the official state ideology of North Korea, described by the government as Kim Il-sung's original, brilliant and revolutionary contribution to national and international thought. It postulates that man is the master of his destiny, that the Korean masses are to act as the masters of the revolution and construction, and that by becoming self-reliant and strong a nation can achieve true socialism. Some South Korean scholars categorize Juche as a national religion, or they compare its facets to those of some religions. For instance, Juche has been compared to pre-existing religions in Korea, notably Neo-Confucianism and Korean shamanism, due to their shared familiar principles. Despite the religious features of Juche, it is a highly atheistic ideology that discourages the practice of mainstream religions. Although the ideology appears to emphasize the central role of the human individual, Juche can be fulfilled only through the masses' subordination to a single leader and accordingly, his successor. Spiritism. Spiritism is a spiritualistic philosophy and religion codified in the 19th century by the French educator Hippolyte Léon Denisard Reveil, under the pen name Allan Kardec. It proposed the study of the nature, origin, and destiny of spirits, and their relation with the corporeal world. Spiritism soon spread to other countries, having today 35 countries represented in the International Spiritist Council. Spiritism postulates that humans are essentially immortal spirits that temporarily inhabit physical bodies for several necessary incarnations to attain moral and intellectual improvement. It also asserts that spirits, through passive or active mediumship, may have beneficent or malevolent influence on the physical world. Spiritism has influenced the social movement of healing centers, charity institutions and hospitals involving millions of people in dozens of countries, with the greatest number of adherents in Brazil. Judaism. Judaism is the oldest Abrahamic religion, originating in the people of ancient Israel and Judea. The Torah is its foundational text, and is part of the larger text known as the Tanakh or Hebrew Bible. It is supplemented by oral tradition, set down in written form in later texts such as the Midrash and the Talmud. Judaism includes a wide corpus of texts, practices, theological positions, and forms of organization. Within Judaism there are a variety of movements, most of which emerged from Rabbinic Judaism, which holds that God revealed his laws and commandments to Moses on Mount Sinai in the form of both the written and oral Torah. Historically, this assertion was challenged by various groups. The Jewish people were scattered after the destruction of the Temple in Jerusalem in 70 CE. Today there are about 13 million Jews, about 40% living in Israel and 40% in the United States. The largest Jewish religious movements are Orthodox Judaism, Haredi Judaism and Modern Orthodox Judaism, Conservative Judaism and Reform Judaism. Baha'is faith. The Baha'i faith is an Abrahamic religion founded in 19th century Iran and since then has spread worldwide. It teaches unity of all religious philosophies and accepts all of the prophets of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam as well as additional prophets including its founder Baha'u'llah. One of its divisions is the Orthodox Baha'i faith. Smaller regional Abrahamic groups also exist, including Samaritanism, primarily in Israel and the West Bank, the Rastafari movement, primarily in Jamaica, and Druze, primarily in Syria and Lebanon. Jainism. Jainism, taught primarily by Rishabhanita, the founder of Ahimsa, is an ancient Indian religion that prescribes a path of non-violence, truth and ekantavada for all forms of living beings in this universe, which helps them to eliminate all the karmas, and hence to attain freedom from the cycle of birth and death, samsara, that is, achieving nirvana. Jains are found mostly in India. According to Dundas, outside of the Jain tradition, historians date the Mahavira as about contemporaneous with the Buddha in the 5th century BCE, and accordingly the historical Parshvanita, based on the circa 250-year gap, is placed in 8th or 7th century BCE. Digambara Jainism, or sky-clad, is mainly practiced in South India. Their holy books are Pravachanasura and Samyusura, written by their prophets Skandakunda and Damarachandra, as their original canon is lost. Shvetambara Jainism, or white-clad, is mainly practiced in western India. Their holy books are Jainagamas, written by their prophet Shilabhadra. Shinto. It is the traditional religion of Japan that focuses on ritual practices to be carried out diligently to establish a connection between present-day Japan and its ancient past. Shinto today is the religion of public shrines devoted to the worship of a multitude of spirits, essences, kami, suited to various purposes such as war memorials and harvest festivals, and applies as well to various sectarian organizations. Practitioners express their diverse beliefs through a standard language and practice, adopting a similar style in dress and ritual, dating from around the time of the Narandhan periods, 8th–12th century. Purification rites called Hari are a vital part of Shinto. They are done on a daily, weekly, seasonal, lunar, and annual basis. These rituals are the lifeblood of the practice of Shinto. Cao-Dai. It is a monotheistic syncretic religion officially established in the city of Tay Ninh in southern Vietnam in 1926. The full name of the religion is Dai Dao Tam Ki Pho Du, the Great Faith, for the Third Universal Redemption. Adherents engage in practices such as prayer, veneration of ancestors, nonviolence, and vegetarianism with the goal of union with God and freedom from samsara. Cao-Dai temples and religious buildings host a rich array of symbols, all of which are instructed by either God the Father or divine beings. No symbol is redundant, and none is meaningless. They each tell a different story that reveals the beliefs, values, cosmic secrets, prophecies, etc. When combined, they lay out the journey of the Tao throughout the history of mankind and the universe, as well as its way forward. Tenrikyo. Tenrikyo, sometimes rendered as Tenryism, is a Japanese new religion which is neither strictly monotheistic nor pantheistic, originating from the teachings of a 19th century woman named Nakayama Miki, known to her followers as Oyasama. Followers of Tenrikyo believe that God of origin, God in truth, known by several names including Tsukihi, Tenryo no Makoto, and Oyagami-sama, God the Parent, revealed divine intent through Miki Nakayama as the Shrine of God, and to a lesser extent the roles of the Hansaki Izo Iberi and other leaders. The primary operations of Tenrikyo today are located at Tenrikyo Church Headquarters, Tenri, Nara, Japan, which supports 16,833 locally managed churches in Japan, the construction and maintenance of the Oyasada Yukata, and various community-focused organizations. It has 1.75 million followers in Japan, and is estimated to have over 2 million worldwide. Neo-paganism. Modern paganism, also known as contemporary paganism and neo-paganism, is a collective term for new religious movements influenced by or derived from the various historical pagan beliefs of pre-modern Europe, North Africa and the Near East. Although they do share similarities, contemporary pagan religious movements are diverse, and no single set of beliefs, practices or texts are shared by them all. Goddess spirituality, which is also known as the goddess movement, is a pagan religion in which a singular, monotheistic goddess is given predominance. Designed primarily for women, goddess spirituality revolves around the sacredness of the female form, and of aspects of women's lives that have been traditionally neglected in Western society, such as menstruation, sexuality and maternity. Unitarian Universalism. Unitarian Universalism, is a liberal religion characterized by a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Unitarian Universalists assert no creed, but instead are unified by their shared search for spiritual growth. As such, their congregations include many atheists, agnostics, and theists within their membership. The roots of Unitarian Universalism lie in liberal Christianity, specifically Unitarianism and Universalism. Unitarian Universalists state that from these traditions comes a deep regard for intellectual freedom and inclusive love. Congregations and members seek inspiration and derive insight from all major world religions. Universalists claim a long history, beginning with Origen and Gregory of Nyssa, though some modern scholars question whether either of these church fathers taught the defining doctrine of universalism. The term may refer to any belief about the nature of Jesus Christ that affirms God as a singular entity and rejects the doctrine of the Trinity.